Hi, so in the previous video what we did is we calculated the right Riemann sum as an estimate for this same curve, x squared plus 1. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing, just calculating the left Riemann sum. So again, we have this curve on the board, and what we want to do is estimate the area using just rectangles, and we're calling this the left Riemann sum because for our height of each of these rectangles, we're using the left endpoint of these three segments over the interval 0 to 6. So for example, our first rectangle is where these are all equal width, right? They're each 2 wide, each of these. And so for the first one, we're estimating the height at the left endpoint, which is at 0. So we want to calculate f of 0. So f of 0 is going to be just 0 squared plus 1. And so that's going to give us a height of 1. So this value right here is 1. So therefore the area of this rectangle, we can just calculate it, is going to be a width of 2 and a height of 1. So this area here is going to be 2. So you can kind of see that that's not too bad, but that's going to be an underestimate of the area under this curve, which should include this part right here, and it doesn't. So then the next value for our next rectangle here is going to be from 2 to 4. So we're going to calculate it from the left endpoint, 2. So f of 2 is going to be 2 squared plus 1 equals 5. So we're saying this height right here is going to be 5. So this is 2 wide and the height's 5. So this area is going to be 10 for this rectangle. Again, underestimate, definitely not too bad, but it's still clearly underestimating. Then for this third rectangle, to estimate this big piece, we're going to use left endpoint. So it's going to be at 4. So f of 4 is going to be 4 squared plus 1 equals 17 for our height. So bring it over here. This height is 17. This width is 2, so this area is going to be 2 times 17, which is going to be 34. And so altogether, the area, our estimate for the area under this curve is going to be the sum of these three. So it's just going to be 34 plus 10 plus 2, right? Could have wrote it in the other order. And that's going to be 46. So it's interesting, you saw in the previous video, which I will post a link to in the description, the previous video we had an overestimate because with the right endpoint, all the rectangles were above the curve, and now we have definitely a underestimate because we're underestimating here, we're underestimating here, and we're way underestimating here where we're not including any of this area. So that gives you a good idea of the left Riemann sum. And then so what we're going to do in the next video is we're going to do the midpoint. We'll do a middle Riemann sum where we take the middle point rather than an endpoint.